Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to be sharing again one of my experiences in ISTA and how to use it rather than how to set it up. I'm using a virtual machine parallels desktop running on my Mac, but virtual Windows. And you know how to connect the cable on your OBD port, and then what I'm going to show you is just a few bits and pieces that might be useful for your future references. First of all, when you connect to the ISTA, all you're going to get is this screen. But before that, I'd like to show you my version, because it's a new version that I purchased from eBay at a reasonable good price. It's one of the latest ones, September 14th. All packages are literally for this year's, and it's included with programming and encoding data as well. On your first page, when you make the connection, and then you'll see this page, which you're going to look for this eye-level factory number. This is the software that your car came out of the factory for the very first time. So my car's software, although it's a 2016 F30, the first software was installed in 2015, and BMW names F30 cars with a code F020, and then my actual software on the car right now, it was installed during one of the major services, I think, which was in 2017. So when you're doing some programming or flashing or whatever you call it, you need these two numbers just to be on the safe side. And you've got all sorts of equipments that your car has, and on the control tree, as you can see, it's like very easy. It shows all the modules that your car has. My one has got, I think, 18 of them. You can easily see the display fault memory, CID image data invalid or faulty. So let's show fault code fully and see. It says the image data is invalid or incorrect. The reason for this on my car is because I installed an Android Auto MMI box in my car. So between the iDrive screen and the head unit, there is another box that I installed. So that code doesn't go away, which is fine by me, because it says it can be ignored if it doesn't go away. So I'm totally fine with that, because my 2016 BMW has all sorts of Android Auto and media playback from USB stick, and camera functions, front and rear view camera, everything. So I don't really need that. So I'm just going to go back to the vehicle information. So over here, before we get into a little bit more detail, I'm going to show you how to, what to use to connect ISTA to your car. Again, back to my desktop with Mac. I made a very straightforward, simple PowerPoint presentation for you. So you've got a few options here. I'm going to go through them very quickly for your information. So Ethernet cable, that's what I'm using at the moment, just to diagnose my car. Any sort of Ethernet cable would do the job. Some crazy people are talking about like building your own Ethernet cable, soldering and all sorts of connections. Well, all I can say is, if you can afford a BMW, I'm pretty sure you can buy a good quality cable just to be on the safe side. So this is what I'm using at the moment, just an ordinary Ethernet cable to read some diagnostics on my car. Other options are, we've got ICOM, original ICOM Next, ABC, depends on the series you're using, but this should do all of them, which is quite pricey, BMW OEM product. It has a cable and Wi-Fi connection, which is quite painful to set it up, really. Next one just came out this year sometime, if I'm not wrong, which is called ICOM Nano. You get Wi-Fi only version with this one. Price is fairly good comparing to the original one. Unfortunately, it doesn't support E-series, and I didn't try it, but I've seen a few people using it, and on the F series it looks more stable and gives you a better connection, but again, overall data transfer is very slow comparing to any other connection. And then VCX SE for BMW is an alternative aftermarket icon equivalent, which supports all BMW series. It gives you both Wi-Fi and USB-C cable connection. It's pretty fast comparing to other icons, and price is fairly pleasing, and it's just a dongle, and it also comes, if you like to bundle your dongle with a hard drive or ISTA software, it can be done on the internet. In the meantime, just to let you know that I'm not promoting any of these products, I'm just showing you the options how to connect your BMW car to your ISTA software. Couple of problems that I had in the past. I did lots of research over the past 2 years. I've been driving this car and never took it to any BMW dealership for any problems or any other local mechanic. I've been doing everything myself with the right information. If I don't have the right information, I don't do anything. Simple as that. With Ethernet cable and ISTA D, you can only use it for diagnostics. If you've got ICOM or equivalent with ISTA D again, you can do diagnostic and all sorts of programming features as well. Ethernet cable also is able to do both diagnostics and particularly programming and flashing your modules or whatsoever on ESIS. That is another software to use some repairs or module replacements, which is I think in a way it's much better because you can do all sorts of things without getting tied with BMW's expensive ICOM or any other tools. And for your information, again, all encoding, programming, flashing, whatever you call it, all procedures require a suitable power supply, not a battery charger. First thing I wanted to clarify is that some people were complaining about not having the software update and control unit replacement buttons working. This is a very common thing that I saw on the internet over the years. The only explanation to that is your service data package, SDP, is missing from your ISTA package. So when you buy an ISTA, whatever the version is, doesn't matter, online, people are selling it at a very cheap price, but it comes every cheap price like has its price really in the end. It comes without a SDP installed on it, so that's why you're not going to be able to do any software updates on your modules or any control unit replacements, but you can still do some diagnostics. Moving on, these are ordinary chargers. Their amperage varies. For example, the one on the right bottom is like 8 ampere, just ordinary intelligent car charger. Again, 10 ampere and then 15 ampere here. This is what I'm using right now. Even with the Ethernet cable and diagnostics on ISTA, I don't want the battery to die, so I put it on 15 ampere, 14 volt charging mode at the moment, so I don't have to worry about making videos or like doing all sorts of small adjustments or small coding on my car without worrying about the battery. So, but again, none of these chargers are suitable for coding, programming, flashing, neither on ISTA nor on ESIS or any other programming software. You need a continuous power supply for that matter. Moving on, talking about power supplies, BMW, especially for F series, they recommend 17 amp continuous power source for encoding, programming or flashing if you like it. These are some of the brands, and again, I'm not promoting any of these. These are the most common ones I came across with on the internet. But again, ideally, any 50 amp power supply should do any length or lengthy programming sessions with a success. Again, some useful BMW apps and tools. I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to move on to ISTA itself. Some Beamer code, Beamer link, and then Beamer tool applications that I'm using at the moment, 3 of them. Again, one good thing about them is that they all have one-off price. You don't need subscriptions. If you're like me, a person who has an allergy to subscriptions, so these are the options that you can use. Going back to ISTA, for example, you can go on one of the modules, digital diesel electronics, and then call up the ECU functions and see what's going on inside your ECU, and then trigger some components and see on the diagnostic scan, for example, what do I want to see? For example, battery voltage. Read the state. There you go. This is my battery voltage at the moment. Because I've got the battery charger attached, that's why it's moving up and down. Again, let's just close this. Call up again. I don't know why it froze there for a second. Right. And I want to see, let's say, coolant temperature, aileron, engine oil, some sort of, again, idle status. Read the state. Gives you all sorts of information over here. This applies to every single module you've got on your BMW. You can literally see individual components within your, or whatever your ECU is connected to. You can actually, let's say, undo, brake pressure sensor, read the state, 0 bar, because car is not running at the moment. Another thing is, when you go into vehicle management and service functions, you can see you can trigger all sorts of service functions here. Digital diesel electronics, you can exchange certain components in your car. For example, I'm running a diesel 3 Series, so my DPF has a lifespan of just over, I think, 100,000 miles, so it needs to be replaced afterwards. That's what you need to do, some reset adaptations and all sorts of service resets. They are possible with ISTA. On the software update side, again, well, straight away started calculating the measures plan. One thing I need to share with you is that we talked about this earlier on. My actual software update was carried out in 2017 here, but because I've got the latest version of ISTA, it found another integration level, which means another like software update, which is 2020. I have to say that this is not something like you updating your phone in your pocket. This is very grey area. Actually, it's a no-no area. If things are working in your car, you don't need to update this. Again, this is not a simple mobile phone update that you do over the air in a few minutes. If you don't have any problem with your modules or in your car, don't touch this. You don't need to update any of these, because it might have a catastrophic consequence, and you don't want to deal with that, like leaving your car at home like without running for days or even weeks, or maybe call a dealership or stuff. As long as things are working in your car, you don't need this update option here. Again, it might take like for hours depending on what modules need upgrading, and also they need to communicate with each other at a constant state. So it's not like you update one single module or ECU and then hope that it's going to work with the rest of them. It's again, it's a no-no option if things are working with your car. I'm just going to wait for this to finish it, and then I think, again, same with the control unit replacement. If you replace a control unit, before and after replacement options here, you need to just follow the instructions, and then ISTA is going to guide you along the way. In general, I haven't done any ECU or module replacement so far. Again, for the last 2 years, I didn't have any ECUs. These are not very fragile tools or computers, I would say. They last quite long. It depends. I mean, I didn't have any problems so far. I hope you don't. But if you do, there is a software that can actually fix things with the right information and right guidance. So please do your research. Don't just play up with your car just to try to see if it's going to work or not. Again, these are expensive toys, I would say, and we don't want to break them that easily just by trying a few things. And back to the operations, active operations, what we need to do is, so once the calculating measures plan ends, I'm going to close the ISTA. Again, because I didn't do any programming or coding so far in my car, I didn't need any of them. I'm not using any ICOM, or I'm not using any of the dongles that I showed before. I'm just using an Ethernet cable for diagnostics. So you can see actions to be performed 56. Duration of software update is available after starting the measures plan execution, which is going to take at least a day maybe, because not because it's the connection is slow, it's because ISTA takes care of kind of stuff like very slowly, and then like making sure that everything is back to working condition. And to finish our session, I'm going to close the operation, wait for this one to go away, and then I will finish the session. There we go. Connection is gone, and close ISTA.